Hey guys, Joey here, and today I'm covering the Anal Probe Weapon, seen in the Destroy All Humans video game series.
As silly as it sounds, Destroy All Humans is a game series where you play as an alien harvesting human brains for dormant Furon DNA. The Furons, the species you play as, are incredibly advanced, even involving psychic abilities such as psychokinesis and the ability to rearrange atoms into ammunition for weapons.
Furons come with many weapons, one of which just happens to be the Anal Probe. And in order to fit this goofy as hell weapon into a game like that, it needs to be given a proper introduction. However, first I need to explain how exactly it actually works.
The Anal Probe is described as a charged-up, drill-like weapon that is launched into somebody's asshole, ricochets through their body until it reaches the head, at which point it explodes and launches a brain out with it.
In the remake, it functions similarly. However, instead of a drilled projectile being shot out of it, it is instead a tentacle, which brings the brain back to you instead of forcing you to manually collect it.
Unlike in the original, the Anal Probe is able to be upgraded. Some of these upgrades include being able to fire 2 at once and even have it spread to multiple targets.
Something fun that wasn't in the original was this little paragraph written about everything that you have, every weapon and ability at your disposal.
According to the game, whenever a planet becomes a target of the Furon Empire, it is their goal to harvest some of the native species' DNA in order to improve their own genetic code, resulting in a black market trade for rarer and illegal DNA.
Furons have the natural ability to extract people's brains using their psychokinetic powers. However, unupgraded, this ability is not as powerful as it could be, and this is where the Anal Probe comes in.
The Anal Probe was created in order to make DNA harvests easier for the Furons. It is unknown how long they have been in use for, but using Gastro's ramblings as a source and plot points from Destroy All Humans 2, they were in the prototype stage by the time of the Martian War, making them at least 100 years old.
A genetic trait they could have taken from the Martians' DNA was likely an immunity to radiation, seeing as how radiation was the thing that cost them their reproductive capabilities.
Seeing as how the sphincter is apparently a mostly universal organ amongst most species in the galaxy, Furon scientists designed this weapon to be an effective killer and DNA harvester, leaving their minds to rest while letting their trigger fingers take over.
Anal probes were used heavily against the forces of Earth by Cryptosporidium 137, the character that you play as. In the game, DNA extracted from brains acts as a sort of currency, used to buy upgrades and better weapons. Aside from the normal anal probe gun, there are actually 2 other pieces of machinery that fall under the probe category and could be considered variants. Why don't we get to them, shall we?
These normal probes are launched pre-invasion in order to test the waters until a proper target is found. These droids serve as a collectible within the game, granting 75 DNA when collected, along with a piece of concept art used during development.
These scouting probes are weak and easily damaged. It is unknown how they are able to extract brains from people, but for my guess, they use one of their many mechanical claws to rip a person's brain out of their skull.
Easily damaged is correct, because if my assumption is right, gunshots could have been fired at these robots during their initial contact.
It's confirmed that these scout probes are manufactured en masse within factories, and come equipped with a scanning device and self-destruct mechanism. After a certain amount of DNA is collected, a hard factory program requires them to be collected manually by a Furon operative. Until such a time comes, any DNA collected will be stored in a refrigerated compartment hidden within the harvester itself.
In order to prevent illegal tampering, scout probes are equipped with a self-destruct mechanism when a security code is violated, at which point they will eject any stored DNA and flee from potential threats until exploding.
The character Orthopox refers to a model of drone known as an F-800, used during the game for scanning human residences for destructibility. And lastly, we have the Jumbo Probe, a type of torture device used once in the entire series, not including the remake.
The Jumbo Probe is built into, or a modification of, a standard Furon scout ship. Resembling a giant claw, it is used to interrogate any native life forms of a world as a last resort, since it can cause so much pain to nearly expose the skull of a victim and cause death within seconds after use.
That's all for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed and you'll see me next time.